the Antibodies Sera Framework, that went live on the 1st of July. It comprises of 2 lots, one for antibodies and one for sera and other matrices, hence the very long title in the overall framework. So it runs to the 31st of December 2023 currently, with a maximum option to extend by up to 6 months. The reason for this is the plan, it's currently a plan and we're working to it hopefully, is that it will run coterminous with North East's life science reagents, which I believe ends in March 23 with an extension for up to 12 months. And then going forward, hopefully it will be combined framework. So the one we've got now anyway has got 18 suppliers. Of that 18, only 2 new suppliers to the framework. That's Enzo Life Sciences and Cambridge Bioscience. We've also got a revised further competition for sera and a marketing premium. Now, the previous framework did not have a marketing premium included. This one does, which makes it really important that when you raise an order under the framework, you let the supplier know you're using the framework. Because as I'm sure you're aware, the marketing premium comes back to the members in some areas, and it's really vital that you stress that you're using it. A lot of the framework suppliers have previously said they didn't know who was using the framework because they just get orders. The best thing to say is to let them know at the outset that you're proposing to use this framework and move on from there. In terms of who can access, it's open to everybody, pretty much. That's members of SUPC, LUPC, North East, North West, Wales and APUC. If you've got any queries on whether you can access it or what you need to do, by all means give me a shout. So that's the first slide. And on to the second one. So this is the new call-off, or rather the call-off options. I'll start that again. So how you can call off is by ranked. Initially, that's a direct award via ranking. So they are all ranked on both lots. Further competition, the standard competition tendering that you are probably quite familiar with. Further competition using eMarketplace. And again, some of the suppliers have gone onto the eMarketplace platform, some of them haven't. But you can, again, as with other frameworks, you can go in and select what you want if it's on there, and at the price that suits your requirements. That is a compliant route. There's desktop exercise, which I'm sure people are familiar with, but if not, we've got a spreadsheet we can show, a calculator that we can share with you that shows you what you need to do or how to adjust the figures. It's up to 20 percentage points that things can be adjusted. Then we're on to the new one, which is the further competition for lot 2 only. This is for sera. So we've got 5 steps that would be used. There's the technical requirement is issued by the member to all the suppliers awarded onto the lot. Now it has to be awarded to all of the suppliers. You can't pick and choose on this. It has to go to everybody. The suppliers then express an interest and submit basic technical info on the batches and products, as you'd expect, I guess, with any sort of call to award. Members define the batch technical criteria to the framework suppliers and shortlist to a maximum of 3 batches. The members then test the batches of the selected suppliers and then score an award to the single supplier for a certain batch based on further competition technical criteria. So it gives it a bit more opportunity to review what is on offer rather than just being forced into one particular route. And we're trying to make it so that this activity is more compliant rather than just going for the supplier you've always used because you know what they will do, appreciating there are research protocols in place, so you may still be restricted. So that's that element. Then this is extremely brief and I apologise. The suppliers on the framework, on the 2 lots, lot 1 has got all of the suppliers awarded a place, so that's all 18. Lot 2 has got 9 of the suppliers that were on lot 1 as well, but they're just covering lot 2 and lot 1. Talking nonsense now. There are suppliers that were on the previous framework that are no longer on there. So that's the likes of Eurogentech, Life Science Group, Life Technologies, Peprotech, St John's Labs, Tokyo Chemical, Universal Biologicals and VWR. Now the majority of them declined to bid. There was only 1 supplier that was unsuccessful in the tendering process. Everyone else declined. believing it wasn't the best route for them. We have also had a bit of an issue with effectively the market leader Abcam, who declined to bid, stating that the framework wasn't suitable, or they don't tend to like the frameworks, but are still trying to pursue business through the institutions. All I can say is, obviously, no institution is obliged to use the framework. It is the most compliant route to market. And if Abcam are approaching you, please be aware they're not on the framework. They declined to bid, but they are still trying to get the business, which you can appreciate is the case across generally. So that's entirely, I've lost my train of thought. That's pretty much the framework in a nutshell. It is pretty much the same as it was in the previous version. There's only these slight tweaks. Again, the marketing premium is a really interesting new addition, but it does mean that end users must quote that they're using this framework, because if the suppliers don't know that they're using it, they won't put it on their reporting that comes back to us, and therefore the marketing premium won't get awarded out. The only other thing I have is about the launch event, and now this is scheduled, hopefully, for the 8th of September. It's still a bit work in progress, but the plan is for the 8th of September. It's probably going to still be virtual, so we're just working out the best way to deliver it, and we will send out some info as soon as possible. But that's about it really in terms of updates. There are these standard framework processes, which I know I'm going to piggyback on Antonio's presentation from this morning. And just it's the standard for further comp options, etc. And by all means, if you've got any queries, give me a shout. I'm more than happy to have a conversation about it. But in terms of my actual presentation, that is it really.
Oh, thank you, Dani. That was really interesting. Does anybody have any questions? All microphones have now been unlocked, so if you wish to ask a question to Dani, you can ask one, or you can leave it in the chat function to the side. Just got a question from Antonio. He's just asking, is there a risk that a supplier's e-marketplace catalogue will not include their entire range? And if so, is it advisable for members to call the framework suppliers even if they cannot find what they want in the e-catalogues?
Absolutely. I think because some of the suppliers have ranges that are in the thousands and thousands of product lines, so it may be for one reason or another they can't list them all on the e-marketplace, but Antibodies and Sera are covered in its entirety for this framework, so it would definitely be worth having a conversation with the suppliers just to clarify if they do still have it, because I appreciate from conversations I've had with antibody suppliers, their product lines are frequently changing. I'm sure there are the standards that they have often and frequently, but they are changing to try and sort of compete with the market and the new ways of using them really. So by all means, I would suggest speaking to the suppliers, but again, as long as you are sort of ensuring that you ask the same question across all of the suppliers, that if you're going out to a further comp.
I've got a question from Paul, just asking, will the competition in e-marketplace be added to other frameworks such as IRLA consumables?
It won't be added. It won't be added into this one, into the current IRLA consumables, because it's already there. But it is something we're looking at. However, I'm fully aware that it is an activity that happens anyway, unofficially, sort of not under the radar, but it's not documented within the framework agreement. I do know that I understand that folks do use that as a route to secure their products that they're after. But I think going forward, it is something we need to actually make sure is documented within the framework as an actual route to progress.